Hello everybody, PsyStarcraft here with another Heart of the Swarm, not Heart of the Swarm, STARBOW commentary. It's going to be against rsvp once again. Sorry about no uploads and no stream yesterday. I was actually preparing, remodeling / painting my apartment the entire day. I know I probably should have updated you on Facebook and let you know I wasn't going to be streaming, but I assumed that you guys assumed I had important matters to attend to. But I am going to be streaming today. It is Tuesday. Probably start a little bit later than usual. I have a couple things to do. I know I'm so busy. I'm so busy and mysterious. Like, that's why all the chicks love me, you know. I'm just like so awesome and stuff like that. But check it out, twitch.tv/PsyStarcraft. What is up with this FPS drop? What the truck? I'm going to restart Fraps. Alright, is that any better? No, it is. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's better. That's better. Anyway, rsvp did very well in the STARBOW Invitational Qualifier Tournament. Or actually, he did qualify for the tournament. And so obviously he did well in the Qualifier Tournament. Didn't do so hot, although he put up a good fight in the actual tournament itself. I think it was taken by Innovation or the guy he was playing against. I forget who he was playing against. But we can see he's going to be going with the Forge first. He's actually scouting very early, and when a Protoss scouts with 2 probes like this, they almost always want a cannon, so they can assume that a Zerg on a 4-player map is going to go for a hatch first, and rsvp really wants to capitalize on this. But the problem with STARBOW is it's much more difficult to cannon someone, just because Queen's Enrage does a lot more damage, Lings do a lot more damage, and I guess that's really the only 2 reasons. I'm not sure how like the hatchery timings go compared to the cannoning, because creep makes it a little more difficult to cannon as well. But he's going to be scouting me, and is he going to go up to the main? Yes, he's going to go up to the main. He saw the hatchery already, so he can assume that I'm basically vulnerable to cannons. I think he just wants to make it a little less obvious that he's going to be cannoning by running up into the main. And of course I'm going to be seeing this probe, so I feel like he could maybe run it around, or maybe like run it above. But I suspect this. I'm like, dude, I know you're cannoning me. You can throw down 1 cannon, you can throw down 2 cannons, that's fine. I can defend that just fine. But if he throws down 3, that's when I start to get concerned. So you can see I'm not overreacting at all, because I realize he only has a position for 2 cannons here. The thing is, I haven't seen the second probe, which is actually going to make things a little more difficult. So we are seeing the first cannon go up. I don't think he can put down the second cannon because his probe is in the way. He's canceling this. I don't want him to get another cannon right here, so I'm just going to be beating away at this cannon. Drones actually do quite a bit of damage, but they actually lose one-on-one against probes, and he's going to take down this drone with this second reinforcing probe. So that's actually really smart, bringing a second probe, and it's even smarter attacking my drones with his probe. So you can see here, second one attempting to go down, but this is going to be easily canceled, and if this one can get canceled, he's still only going to have, oh, get out of there, no drone! Losing 2 drones to this 1 probe, that's not good at all. So this cannon's a little bit late, so despite getting 3 cannons up, as we're about to see here, this one can't actually reach the hatchery, so it's not a huge concern. This one's a little bit weak, and I've got Lings and Queens on the way, so it looks like I'll be able to hold this. Now, one thing I really need to do is make sure I get my Lings around back to get plenty of surface area on this cannon. I don't want to just funnel them into this little area and have them be attacking 1 or 2 at a time. So I'm basically waiting for my second Queen, make sure to get these Lings down here, which I'm not doing, which is a huge mistake. Look at them just bunching up, doing absolutely nothing. This probe's actually getting some damage in as well. Going to be attacking the second cannon, the one that can actually attack the hatchery. Transfuse going down, microing back with this Queen, and I should have laid down another transfuse on this guy and then just kept this guy, you know, back, but instead I throw down 2 enrages. One of them kind of wasted, although I guess in the end it's the same. I still have 1 attacking Queen, and I'm going to be taking down all but 1 cannon, so he's actually placed 3 cannons so far. He's got his Nexus on the way, so this is actually really good for rsvp. Obviously these cannons have paid for themselves, but you know, in STARBOW you don't often deny or kill a hatchery with the cannons. Most of the time you just kill some probes, some drones, which he's actually killed 3, partially due to my carelessness. And you know, delay a lot of mining at the natural. So this cannon's obviously going to be taken down pretty shortly. I've got a second Queen on the way. This Queen might even be able to solo the cannon with the help of a little Ling power, but these Lings are actually scouting over here. So yeah. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. My computer just randomly shut down. I hope I don't have like a problem with my power supply or anything. But anyway, as I was saying, rsvp is up in workers, and I had to make a decision right now. I can either try to catch up economically, maybe take a third, drone up like crazy, or I can go for something more ballsy. And I chose to go something more ballsy, which is going a fast lair, and I decided to quick tech into mutas. Now, my logic here was, oh yeah, look at that micro saving that Queen. If rsvp doesn't show, are you okay to replace? Maybe. Wow, that's kind of funny. I'm casting an rsvp game when I'm just asked by the STARBOW admin if I want to replace him in the tournament. Anyway, I kind of thought maybe because of all the cannons he put out, and actually because of all these zealots as well when you think about it, that maybe he's not going to have tech available to deal with really fast mutas. So I actually got a lair, and I actually transfused my lair. But little did I know, rsvp had a drone hiding in the back this entire time, so I tried to fake him out with a Hydra Den. I really don't think it worked, so I canceled the Hydra Den and make the Spire, which is what I initially wanted to make anyway. And he's actually going to get back in there and almost see it, and this is kind of silly. It's almost so obvious that I faked it. He sees that I canceled it, and now the Spire's going down on the right. So this fake out did not work whatsoever. I did end up transfusing a Spine Crawler. I'm going to be prepared for the Zealot aggression, so playing really well balanced from here on out, I feel like. Besides the silly little fakeage, he was just so fortunate to have that probe there. He's going to be ready for it. You can see a Twilight Council. That's going to be for Blink Stalkers. Blink Stalkers pretty effective against mutas. They do bonus damage to them. Obviously, they've got great mobility, which work well against mutas, so it's going to be hard to get a lot of damage with the mutas. rsvp posturing back and forth with these zealots, trying to get some Ling kills, but I've got quite a few Lings. I've got a Queen here that, you know, is threatening to enrage. She doesn't quite have the energy right now, but, you know, the threat is there, so there's that. Harvester count, obviously I'm going to be down by 8 because he is forcing a lot of Lings out of me with these zealots, so not only am I foregoing drones because of my tech, which is just now finishing, which he doesn't seem to have a lot of units for just yet, but also I'm making a lot of Lings. He's going to be responding by getting some Stalkers. I'm assuming he knows my Spire is coming. He didn't actually see it, but he saw the cancellation of the Hydra Den. There's the second Spine Crawler. He's not really going to get anything done with these zealots. Not with all these Lings blocking the ramp and these two spines in pretty good positions. I feel like this spine can reach this spine can reach this spine if he chooses to attack them. Searching for a third base, obviously he's not going to find a third base, and he really needs to start the Stalker protection. Here are the Stalkers. How much do they cost? 75.50 as opposed to 125.50. So they're more mobile. They do less damage than Dragoons. They have much less life than Dragoons, but apparently they cost 50 less minerals, so they're pretty gas intensive, so you can't just churn them out at will. But he does have a steady production of them coming. I've just got 3 mutas on the way. If we look at the total muta count, it's going to be 7 mutas against just 2 Stalkers. So he's choosing not to chrono boost. He's actually not chrono boosting anything right now, which is a bit of a mistake. That's actually really surprising. That's incredibly surprising. Looks like he might be saving it for something. I don't know. You can actually chrono boost photon cannons to increase their damage output, their attack speed. He's going to be blinking these Stalkers into the mineral line. I'm going to be sniping a couple of probes. 2 probes going down, and this is actually really good that he didn't replace them right away, because obviously he wants to make Stalkers, and you can't make a lot of Stalkers without gas. He's going to send 2 of them in. I've actually got 8 mutas here, but he's got 3 more Stalkers on the way, picking off 2 Stalkers. Going to be going for this cannon, but taking so much damage from these Stalkers on the right side. I don't know if that was a good move to focus the cannon, or if I should have changed my attack towards these Stalkers. They do 8 damage plus 50% versus light, so they're actually doing 12 damage to these mutas, which is pretty significant considering how fast they attack. 1.28 attack speed plus their mobility. But look at that, I'm able to route his Stalkers and get into his mineral line, so this is actually pretty huge. I didn't expect this to do so much, especially after such a silly fake out that I attempted. Another Stalker going down, tons of probes dying. Looks like I'm actually ahead by 7 on probes now, but look at this, he's got a gigantic Zealot army marching towards me. I'm focusing down the pylons. I want to eventually unpower those gateways, but he's poking away at me, so I don't know if it's actually going to happen. I do have these 2 spines and tons of Lings going in against these Zealots, but that's so many Zealots, man. They even have +1. That means they're going to 2-shot these Lings. And what am I choosing to do? I'm bringing back these mutas that have complete control over his base. Even I don't know, he had 3 Stalkers about to pop and 4 Stalkers here. This was basically the big decision of the game. Was it smart to bring back these mutas? Now we just have to look and see if these Zealots would have died without the mutas, and it looks like, I mean, a lot of them are taking damage, but I don't know if they actually would have died. These 2 Queens doing tremendous damage with their enrages. This Spine is here, and I think just these 4 mutas at home, and these Zealots are obviously going to get cleaned up by the enrage, and this muta overhead. Enrage is very powerful. All those Zealots dying. This guy might actually finish off the Queen. All these Zealots dying, and these mutas coming back. Where are they? These mutas coming back, I don't think I needed them. I could have stayed in the main, picked off these Stalkers, preventing these Stalkers from, you know, rallying out and, you know, getting grouped up with the rest of them, and I would have been fine. But I don't know. I think that was a poor decision. I think I should have just stayed in the main and relied on my queens, my spines, and maybe my just the production of units that were coming out. Actually, this Zealot caught me off guard a little bit. But you know, that said, I'm still ahead. I've got my third on the way. It's being saturated. He's got so many stalkers by now, though. I've got 16 mutas. He's got nine stalkers. But I think these stalkers with a little bit of micro and their +1 upgrade. I guess my mutas have +1. Will be just fine against these mutas. And we're seeing me try to take on these stalkers. I'm basically trying to band-aid my previous decision to run back. I realized I shouldn't have run back, and you know, trying to take on these stalkers. But you can see I lost 8 mutas, as opposed to him just losing 3 stalkers, maybe a couple more. He might have just rallied a few. But it's kind of unfortunate that this game, you know, the choice to tech up was so advantageous for me, and then I choose to just like throw it all away by making one poor decision. rsvp with the third completing, my third completing. But you kind of want to be, you know, a little bit ahead of toss, even in STARBOW as far as tech goes, which I am not. And also, as I've said many times before, DTs are so much better in STARBOW than they are in Heart of the Swarm, because in Heart of the Swarm and in Brood War, because in Brood War Overlords detected, and in Heart of the Swarm DTs required expensive additional long build time tech. So DTs are so strong. So really, if you have any expansion and you know your Protoss opponent might have a Templar Archives, you should really get a Spore and a Spine in each base. It's really, I don't think there's any question that you should always do that. So just consider a standard 275 mineral investment for each extra base. So a hatchery, an extra base, actually costs 575 minerals, not 275 minerals. Looks like he is going to be pushing in. I'm going to make the transition into Hydras, because Hydras obviously don't take extra damage from these Stalkers. I gotta watch out for these Archons, though. Those Archons can tear my mutas to shred. Hydras don't take extra damage from Stalkers, so a transition into them is pretty smart, I feel like. Unfortunately, they don't have group spines. These mutas need to watch out for this Archon. Oh my god, so much splash damage. Gonna be moving these mutas back. Looks like these Hydras will push the Stalkers out for the time being. Harvest account 40 to 14. What is happening? This Dark Templar has 5 kills. This Dark Templar has 16 kills. Oh my gosh. It looked so good when I was pushing these Stalkers back, but then you realize all my workers are dead. Every single worker is dead. Dialing in more Zealots. Zealots incredibly effective against Hydras. You really need some kind of support against Zealots, and I'm just going to GG out. I realize my economy is in shambles, and that this game just isn't happening. So it was a pretty well fought game. I think I handled the cannons very poorly, and despite that, I made a ballsy move to tech. Unfortunately, he scouted the tech, and he was pretty much ready for the mutas. You saw all the Stalkers coming out, and Stalkers aren't really something you see unless you know mutas are coming. But despite that, despite that, I was able to do tons of damage, but then he drew them back with the Zealots, which I shouldn't have done. It's kind of sad, but that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed that game, and then obviously the DTs were the nail in the coffin. I still had a chance even before the DTs. But that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and apparently I might be playing in the STARBOW tournament, so that's going to be it. Thanks for watching.